So her solo in the beginning, she started playing and it was in 2, right? It was a 2 feel after the head, and then it went to 4. I didn't feel very much change. The first thing I want to talk about is how do you communicate with each other? Let's just take it from the walk. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so one thing I can do right away is I don't have to play all the time. One thing you did that made your solo a little bit predictable was there wasn't a lot of space, like where they just played. As soon as I started playing, he started, as soon as I stopped playing, he started listening intently. When's he going to start again? That's putting money in the bank, right? Right? I'm basically just setting up some kind of a groove so that we can all feel good together. Now, one thing I want you guys to think about is if I play the same thing many times, your response doesn't always have to be the same. Here's what happened. I played this kind of simple groove, but the other thing I want to say about it is it had a vibe. Right? It wasn't just, it was space, it was a spacious. Okay, so now you have a trickier job in a way, because you can't really suggest too much. But you also want to try and create a little bit more space so that you can sometimes play in and out of 4. Now, the whole thing with bass is so particular. I mean, there's so many. Bass is, it's always a little bit harder to talk, for me, to talk about bass playing because your job is so, well, as you know, it moves back. You move back and forth between a job where you have to really keep the, obviously, the bass player is more the timekeeper than the drummer. 2, 3, 4. But think also that if we start playing an idea together, we don't. Oh, okay. So we're going to look for places to do what we just did. It got a little bit less clear. I'm David Berkman, and I wanted to invite you to come to New York and study with a lot of the fine jazz musicians that are here. New York is where jazz comes from, and please come, kite kudasai, moshi dekitara, and study with and hear some of the jazz that you've been studying in Japan in New York.